our book was one of them. Our book, Trim Healthy Mum, in 2012, when it came out, was the one saying, hey, hold on a sec, saturated fats are fantastic. They're
But guess what?
good for us, and especially why are they good? They're heat stable. You can cook with them, and they don't turn into trans.
Yes, but I want to say, though, you're saying, you know, the regular kind of people, the FDA kind of food pyramid nutrition people, that they'll say that, yeah, that the saturated fats are so bad. But then you get the holistic people, and they're the ones screaming, you know, no, the polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats, they're terrible for us.
Yeah.
You know, so they both have their very wild extreme camps.
They do, absolutely.
This is The Poddy with Serene
And Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
All right, Poddy people, thanks for checking in with us again. We love you, even though we've only seen some of your faces. It's the Trim Healthy Podcast. And here we are. Once again, me not knowing the topic for the day, but knowing that it's going to be riveting. Because the gals are here.
Yeah, we have a special plan in that we never tell Danny the topic, pretty much. But
I think it would be stronger if I knew.
Oh, surprises are good.
Think about my
But
intro.
You're so fantastic when you just talk off the top of your head.
It's better.
That's where your glory lies, Dan.
Does it lie there?
Yeah.
You don't think it'd be cool if I was like, and today we're talking about...
That
you know?
could be actually good.
And it was, you
That
know,
could
and
be
I
good.
could embellish it. Like, give me a topic.
Okay, today we're talking about the healthiest kind of fat. What is the healthiest kind of fat?
Okay.
Try again then.
Welcome to the Trim Healthy Podcast with Serene, Pearl, and I'm Danny. And today we are talking about fats. And no, I don't mean the stuff that slathers off your side. I'm talking about the fats found in food.
Well, how does
Healthy
fat
fats.
slather off your side?
It's like I got lost in the slathering off
I was
your
imagining
side.
like somebody like carving a little bit off their hip to stick in their like eggs, you know, like to fry out.
I could actually
Slather off
see
your
in my
side.
mind, I remember this like 2020 documentary. It's so hilarious. They're like America is an unprecedented obesity problem, and the whole time they're cutting to clips of like real people walking down the street.
I know they do that. I don't like
And these
that.
people were just, I mean, they were like very overweight, but it's
Yeah.
like their face.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a human being. That's somebody's aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Aunt
kind of why we
Sally.
didn't tell you, because I feel like your exhibit
and we
A was
don't
better
really
than exhibit
want
B.
the topic in the introduction. It's just so professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are anti-professional, but this is a good topic because you know who sent me this question? I got a text. What is the healthiest kind of fat? Unsaturated question mark. This was from my daughter Autumn because she had a friend texting her and then she texted me. So we're going to really go into it. But as a little heads up, this is what I texted back. We'll go into the details because Serene actually is a fat queen. She knows a lot more about fats than I do. But I
Yeah,
said,
good old nickname
but
there.
you know what?
Fat
I
Queen.
haven't thought
Fat
about
queen.
fats for years.
But
Serene,
okay, so
Fat
here's what
Queen
I said.
Allison.
What's the healthiest kind of fat? Unsaturated? I said both. But not unsaturated for cooking. I said we need all the kinds of different fats. People get all caught up saying just one kind is best, but that's baloney. God made both saturated and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats are the animal kingdom fats and coconut and palm oils. Unsaturated fats are the rest of the whole plant kingdom. They're like avocados and nuts and seeds and olives and their oils. And so why are we going to get in a camp? Now that was my answer to my daughter, but why are we going to go on one camp and the other? Because people do this. Hey, I'm the saturated camp.
yeah.
I'm the unsaturated camp only. You know, both that one's evil. No, that one's evil. Stop it, everybody. We're humans. And just like we were made to eat carbs and just like we were made to eat fats and protein, and we can't just, say, oh, let's pull one out. We can't pull a fat out either.
I agree. I totally agree. Because in the end, you just got to go with natural nature, right? If there's a natural oil found in a plant and it easily presses out,
Yeah.
why not use it, And so for years, I went really like, oh, okay, extreme. I'm just going to do the saturated fat kind of fat only. So it was the butter and it was the palm oil and the coconut oil. But you know what? Then I started thinking, for years, I've missed out on that extremely anti-inflammatory fat of olives. And you just think about the history of olive oil. You think about the ancient olive trees over in the Middle East, and you think about even the biblical essence, that the whole typology of olive oil, it's so unbelievably healthy. And I just feel like when you go on one extreme, you miss out on this whole other world of healthy foods. It's like when we went plant vegan. There's so many incredible healthy benefits to plants, but boy, did we get unhealthy because we missed out on the bricks and mortar of the protein and the animal foods. And so whenever you get on a tangent, it's just your health is going to suffer.
I think what we want to do in this Poddy then is discuss what fats should be used when and what are they best for. So let's talk about saturated fats first. And people used to scorn saturated fats, especially in the 70s, 80s,
you could look
even
at
90s.
now. You look it up now.
Yeah.
You could fats and their benefits, and they'll straight away go, well, the saturated fats are the
stay
bad
away.
kinds of fats.
I think especially in conventional mainstream medicine, it's people, unless you're kind of an alternative doctor or stuff, that you're still told, well, stay away from saturated fats or we'll raise your cholesterol. But really, our book was one of them. Our book, Trim Healthy Mum, in 2012, when it came out, was the one saying, hey, hold on a sec, saturated fats are fantastic. They're
but guess what?
Good for us, and especially why are they good? They're heat stable. You can cook with them, and they don't turn into trans.
Yes, but I want to say, though, you were saying, the regular kind of people, the FDA kind of food pyramid nutrition people, that they'll say that, that the saturated fats are so bad. But then you get the holistic people, and they're the ones screaming, no, the polyunsaturated, monounsaturated fats, they're terrible for us.
Yeah.
So they both have their very wild extreme camps.
They do, absolutely. But let's talk about saturated fats first. What they are, why we love them, and how to use them. And then we'll talk about the other fats and how we can utilize those too.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that saturated fats are the perfect fats for cooking. Perfect because they're protected and they keep any of the fats from turning into a trans fat. The fact is when you heat them, because they're unprotected, they turn into free radical causing fats. They trans fats, and they're actually cause inflammation. They cause disease. And so with the saturated, there's no fear of that. But it's not just the cooking that happens where the danger happens. It's the fact when it's just sitting there in like clear...
What are you talking about?
Plastic
Unsaturated fats.
Yeah. The plant oils, when it's just sitting there in those clear plastic jugs or clear glass, it's actually not just affected by cooking, but it's affected by light.
We're talking about like coconut oil?
So let's talk about saturated fats. What are they? Because we can talk about those other fats in a minute.
I'm going to look up.
I want to talk about the benefits
talk about
of
that
saturated fats.
because I just need
what
to talk about
what are
that.
saturated fats? Aside from fish, which fish are
it's polyunsaturated.
Polyunsaturated. So yeah, but they're so saturated fats are most of your animal fats. So the yolk in an egg that contains saturated fat. The coconut, the two plant ones are coconut and palm. They're saturated, so they're very stable while cooking. They have health benefits too.
We're talking about palm oil and coconut oil.
Yes. Butter is saturated.
But what about olive oil?
No, it's not saturated.
Okay.
So things like some people cook with tallow, like beef tallow, that's saturated. It's very stable while cooking. A friend, Katie McReynolds, she just dropped some beef tallow off for Serene and I. I've been enjoying cooking my eggs in it.
So frying an egg in coconut oil?
Yeah, and then it's very safe. And there's benefits to these fats too. Now, everyone was scared of them because they can raise cholesterol, but they also raise your good cholesterol. So there's kind of a balance. I believe sometimes that you can get into an imbalance of things. So if you're doing lots and lots of fats and you're not having enough plant foods and things, you can get into a place where maybe your cholesterol does go too high. I'm not really afraid of that so long as you have nice fluffy particles, but we're all different, right? So I think there's a balance to everything. And so saturated fats, coconut oil, butter, all these things are wonderful. When we get into later pause seasons, though, and our metabolism slow down, like late perimenopause and menopause, I'll just do one caution. You can't just load your plates like you kind of used to, even if you're doing an S meal, satisfying meal, like a low-carb meal with fats, avocado, nuts, big pour of olive oil, and then some cheese, and then some guacamole. It's probably just too much for your body to burn. but you still want to enjoy those wonderful fats. And just maybe slightly smaller amounts of them. So there's your saturated fats. They are brilliant. God made them the people in the island people lived on coconut.
And the palm.
The palm. They didn't have high cholesterol.
No. And the African, tribes.
Yes, the palm.
I adopted children from Liberia, and they lived on this beautiful, rich red palm oil. It was bright red, so high in carotenoids, so super high in nutrients. The color told of that. But it's very saturated, even more saturated than coconut, I believe.
It's got a very earthy flavor, though.
Yes, and they would actually have the palm butter, which is kind of more of the pulp of the palm as well, and with some of that oil, and make soup out of it. Delicious.
Yeah, when when your children just came from Africa, we all got into that bright red palm oil.
Oh yeah,
my children grew up with that because of your children, and to this day they love it. It's such a strong flavor, though. If you're not used to it, it takes a while to get used to it. So now let's talk about unsaturated fats. And, that's the whole world of plant fats and actually fish fats.
The plant oils and the fish oils, which are not part of the saturated fat world, but they are so anti-inflammatory. Like I said, with the olive oil, it can actually, for some people, remove a headache if they get a really high quality olive oil.
What is it called? Oleinic acid, right?
Oleinic
acid is a potent anti-inflammatory. Has so many health benefits. Good for the gut. I mean, it's no wonder kind of like it's in the Bible as such a meaningful oil.
Oh yeah.
But your plant oils, and not just oils, but like a nut has fat in it. A seed has fat in it. These things are best. You don't always have to, but they're kind of best not cooked, right?
Yeah. And I used to be so strict. I would never cook with olive oil ever. But I just got to the point where you got to live a little. So sometimes I will, use a light little bit of olive oil on roasted vegetables now, or I'll wait till it's done and then drizzle a little bit on top later. But I really try to keep them all raw and cold pressed.
Your oils. Yeah, your plant oils. And so let's talk about some of our favorite. I do love olive oil. I love MCT oil. We're still big fans of that, but it's more saturated, isn't it?
MCT oil.
Yeah. But it doesn't go.
It's a medium chain.
Yes.
And the plant oils are all long chain.
Okay. Yes.
So the medium and the short chain fatty acids, they are actually what they say lower in calorie, easier to digest. And the long chain, it takes a little bit more for the body, but they're so healthy. There are other things about them that are
wonderful.
Love
avocado oil.
And I love getting my monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats in their whole state as much as possible. And you like to do that too. Like instead of just getting them all in an oil form, like having just the avocado and having the avocado oil when you occasionally, but really loving it in the whole fruit. And then the walnuts, you don't always have to put an oil on your salad. You can just massage a little MCT or oil into the leaves, so you just get a little succulence there. But then you can you've got more caloric room to add your walnuts or add that avocado, either or.
It's so smart, Serene, because I think that even though oils are fantastic foods, and I'm still all about them, I'm about them in smaller doses these days. Because like you said, I want to get the benefits and the minerals and the vitamins and everything from that's pumpkin seed or that walnut and those things. And if I'm doing that with an oil on my salad, I'm kind of abusing calories.
Right.
Some people can.
Yeah,
some
you know
people
who
can't.
you are.
Yeah.
If you're a person super high metabolism, like Danny here,
he
could chuck it all on one salad. Just load it. Like a loaded shopping cart.
And then I want the goat cheese on my salad too. And I want some walnuts. Or I want some pumpkin seeds. So if I do a whole bunch of oil and butter, they're the highest caloric things on this earth. So they're very dense. So let's just be wise with them. We know that they're healthful things, but let's just be wise with them. And then we can enjoy these other things. Like, avocado is such a brilliant food. Every day I'm getting a little bit more thankful for avocados.
Yeah.
They're so creamy. If you're like a person, you like mayonnaise and you go by the store and you like Kraft mayonnaise or whatever, Hellmann's, you're not kind of making your own. Do you know that avocado is so much healthier unless you're making your own mayonnaise because it's not got the soybean oil in it first. And we don't really like soybean oil. We'll talk about it later. There's some oils we don't really like, okay? But avocado is the creamiest thing, and just 2 to 4 tablespoons of it is low in calories.
Oh, yeah.
Like you take a tablespoon of mayonnaise and a tablespoon of avocado and put those on your sandwich, right?
Yeah.
The difference in fuels is absolutely incredible.
And you can doctor it up.
Yeah.
You see, you can put that little bit of lemon juice with the
Yeah.
avocado or even a little mustard.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with having mayonnaise here. I'm not downing mayonnaise here. I'm just saying as we get wiser, as we get into later pausal seasons, we just have to be smarter with our fats. But Serene, you mentioned polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. They're the two main categories of our unsaturated fats. So let's explain the difference. Danny, listen up. You can be quizzed next week.
Well, I mean, it's just the categories where, you know, the olive oil is part of the monounsaturated fat, and then the almond oil and
The seed and
the
nut
avocado.
oils, right?
Well, no, because some of the seed are polyunsaturated.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
What is the difference? Poly means two atoms, and
is
mono
one.
is one. And so they're different types of plant fats, right?
Right, exactly.
So is there one better than the other? I don't think so.
There's not. There's not one better than the other. It's just they both have wonderful things about them. Because you can't say, you know, like fish oil isn't fantastic. It's polyunsaturated.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to say olive oil, which is monounsaturated, isn't fantastic.
Okay.
They're
So
both-
what are our monos, basic monos, and what are our basic polys?
Well, I can get a list here for you so I
Yeah.
don't miss any out.
Yeah.
Because I did say a little short list.
I know
a
that
second.
the fish fats are usually poly. Am I right?
Yeah, fish fats are poly. So the monounsaturated fats, they're found in the avocados, the nuts, the seeds, the olives, and the olive oils.
That's what I said, nuts and seeds, and you said
No,
no.
because you'll just wait.
Okay.
There are polyunsaturated seed and nut oils
Okay.
too. And the polyunsaturated fats, they're found in the sunflower.
Oh,
right.
yes.
The soybean and the corn, which we're not that fond of. The flaxseed oils.
Yeah, they're
the
brilliant.
Fish, the walnuts. Yeah.
But
You're not
you
fond
did-
of corn?
Okay, so these are the ones we're not fond of. I'll give you a list and we'll tell you why. There's like a handful. We're personally not fond of soybean oil, corn oil, anything that just says vegetable oil. Oh
I
my
don't
goodness.
like canola oil at all.
I don't like canola oil. And was there one we were missing?
rapeseed oil.
Yeah.
How is
Well,
vegetable?
that's kind of the original form of canola.
Yeah.
How do they get oil from vegetables, or is that not?
They press it out, I guess. But I don't know. You wouldn't think corn would have much fat in it, would you?
Do we? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
Like
but
we hear the word
it-
vegetable oil, but is
yeah,
it the
well,
oil
and it's
of
just like a combination of like the worst things, and they're all in bottles that are not protected, and they're in plastic bottles, and they're usually not cold
They're
pressed.
all hydrogenated.
Yeah, and so you want cold pressed oils, best organic if you can find them.
Yeah.
But
That's corn oil. That whole aisle of oils at the grocery store, unless it's like a nice olive oil in a nice dark glass jar or something like that, or now in the modern days you might have some nice avocado oil. They're the junkiest of the disease-making junk out
I mean, it
there.
looks like motor oil.
oh, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
it
really
over me
is.
what she really
And
thinks.
mayonnaise is just made out of that, like those oils
Just
with
oil.
a bunch of preservatives.
But I'd
And
love
they're
to
cheap
know.
oils too, because think of it, the crops, soybean and corn, very
It's all
cheap crops,
genetically
right? And a lot of them are
modified.
GMOs
You know,
and stuff.
I heard that olive oil is like the regular. This again is one of those like just quick disclaimer. I know nothing. I have no idea. This is non-scientific. There's nobody named Huberman anywhere around here with a study. God, I'm so burned by studies. Anyways, you could just okay.
Oh
rabbit
yeah,
trail.
studies are slanted.
Okay, so the I heard though that like the regulations surrounding like what you call olive oil is very loose, and so it can be like 90% canola oil.
You can tell.
I mean,
You
that's
can
what I
tell.
heard too. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I always like to buy the ones that say, you know, whether the origin is protected and it's like a single source.
But how do you get like
and you got to pay for it.
well for a big bottle of olive oil? Like imagine even machines getting that much oil from olives.
Yeah.
It shouldn't it cost like $100?
Well, have you ever bitten into an olive? It's quite oily.
It is oily.
Yeah,
okay.
very oily.
So they do secrete.
But you know
in
what?
the old-
Speaking of
in the olden
Aldi's-
days, they
yeah.
just rubbed a stone on a stone, you know, and ground
That's
it.
how I
and-
get mine from my garden.
yeah. But you grow olive trees in your garden?
I do.
I'm
yeah.
telling you, you go over to the Middle East or to Italy,
Yeah.
and you go to a restaurant that the oil is so
Oh my
fresh.
goodness, when we
you can see the olive trees out there and the beautiful
when we
field
went to
behind the
Italy, oh
restaurant.
my goodness, when we went to Italy, the olive oil, like you come back here and we all like, because we took the family to Italy several years ago. It was just an incredible experience. And then we came back and we all still dreamed about Italy. So we said, okay, we're going to get the whole family together and we're going to go to an Italian restaurant. We're going to recreate this whole experience because it's just too good. We have to do it again. And we went to, all that was open to get us all in was a chain one. I think it was like Carrabba's or something. Nothing against them. They do good food. But, how they put the olive oil in the bowl with the vinegar and everyone got their bread out because that's what we did in Italy. But the bread there, it wasn't sourdough, but it didn't have any
no glyphosates.
No glyphosates. No, what are they, fortifications?
Yeah.
And
real food.
And my family members, our kids, and they were just wanting to recreate the experience, and they got the olive oil on their bread and they ate it, and you see everyone's face was just like, what?
Yeah.
This is not the experience.
Bread and oil is not just bread and
in
oil.
In Italy, there's just something about that oil. It's just from the deepness of the earth.
Can you not get it?
Well, you can.
I
But
guess
you got to
can.
spend
You
your
gotta-
moolah. I like to go and
You
buy
gotta
a
spend your
nice
money.
$15 bottle of olive oil. I treat it like wine. Oh
yeah, at least 15. You're gonna have to.
And it's got to be like in one of those dark green
You
jars,
got it.
and the glass has to have a little texture to the glass. You know how it's got some kind of pattern into
well,
the
it
glass.
doesn't have to.
No, I know, but that's when you've got
Yeah.
you get a bit snobby in the look of it and the aesthetics.
I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to be snobby with olive
And
oil.
I love when I have an olive oil like that. I love to generously drizzle, and I'll remove other things from my
Yeah.
salad, and I'll generously drizzle. Or if I'm having a nice egg breakfast, I will go non-stick on the frying of the eggs,
pour
and
it
then
over.
I'll pour the raw oil on top. And
With
some fresh
nutritional yeast.
Parmesan on top. Oh my goodness, the healthy fat.
So the
in one.
oil will be part, not just to cook the food. It will be
No, I
part
won't
of.
cook the food with it. It'll just be
Okay.
the raw on top, and just let it kind of river down the egg,
Yeah.
form its little channels.
Especially if
Yeah.
you fry an egg. I don't like sunny side yolks where the white is still a little
Oh, I can't
blobby,
have white
but
being
I do
blobby.
like a fried egg where it's
Yeah.
medium, so you still get some looseness with the yolk, but the white is all cooked.
White's got to be cooked.
Yes, but then if you do olive oil mix and you pierce the yolk and it drizzles into your sautéed spinach or something,
so
then
good.
you put olive oil over top and it merges, and you start getting the combination of the best fats in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like that
Yes.
really good olive oil and the really good bright yolk, of Serene's
Amazing.
egg from her
Poop hen,
yard
For
that we
poopy
talked
hen.
about last week.
Bring that poopy hen egg
and
over
you
here.
just combine them. I love that over wilted spinach.
Oh, so delicious.
Some maybe tomatoes. in
It's
there.
like modern art, where you just let the colors just kind of
Oh,
do whatever they're gonna do.
I wish
You get
I
like a
didn't have my lunch. I
spatula?
want to go
Yeah.
home and have this for lunch right now.
Oh,
yeah.
so
Fried
delicious.
eggs are happening tonight.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm going to make sure we have the right olive oil because we do have one on the counter right now as a dark green jar.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yes.
thinking it's the Primo.
Do you know what I have to do? Last week we talked about Aldi
And I can't
all
do
that.
plastic. I love
No,
Costco.
can't do plastic. No.
I love doing Costco, but sometimes they do their bulk oil. It's olive oil. It's dark green plastic.
Yeah.
But it's plastic, and I just feel jibbed.
No.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Serene,
In an emergency, I might just
we were
grab
talking
one
about
bottle.
I had something brilliant to say.
Well, about eggs, because that's a healthy fat too. We need to talk
okay,
about
but
cholesterol.
what was I saying before that? Oh yeah, last week about Aldi's, then we'll go on to eggs. We talked about Aldi's, and we said the good things we like, the bad things we like. But I feel like their olive oil has been pretty good standard. It's for the price. We're saying we have to spend
Oh,
$15
yeah.
to be snobby.
No, that's $3, and that will be a staple for my children with all their recipes. Oh, I keep that
It's in a
snobby bottle
dark-
up in my
Yeah,
special
but
cupboard
Aldi's
they can't reach.
is in a dark amber jar, glass, right?
Yeah.
And it tastes pretty good. It doesn't taste like it's mixed with canola, Danny. And I've had many good years of that. When I
Yeah.
was on a budget, I would buy the Aldi's, and I just hoped to God it was the real thing, and I think it was.
It's the real thing. It says from Spain and from
Yeah.
Tunisia, and it says something about
So the laws are pretty.
watching the sauce.
I know we don't trust, people don't trust the government anymore these days, but, in terms of regulation, like the ingredients on the back, I mean, is it pretty good and strict? Like if it says something, it's not.
There's ways of telling. If you put your olive oil in the fridge and then it starts to.
I don't know, Danny. Like
harden.
our company,
Get
we're
cloudy,
very
it's not-
fastidious
it's
about
good stuff.
obeying all the laws because we'd rather be upfront. Like, but we found out, didn't we, with that stevia company, that it just said stevia and it was full of saccharin. So there's, and then they go and test vitamins all the time, and they find out the vitamin that they say is in there is just mixed with all this other stuff that they don't say
it's
is
filler.
So I say it's pretty rampantly Wild West out there.
Okay, so it's not really to be trusted. You need to know your sources.
I think you should find a company and if a company is to be trusted, trust them.
Yeah, see, okay, I like that because we got this it looked right. We got it off the shelf. It was it looked like your chicken. You remember from last podcast,
Yeah.
you had that pre-cooked chicken
from Trader Joe's, yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that, and it was like, I don't know, Kevin's or Keith's or whatever. And just mentally I was sort of identifying with this guy Kevin. You know, just subconsciously. I'm making Kevin's food, right? And I'm like, man, I appreciate Kevin. And then a wild butt hair.
What?
I get on.
There was no butt hair. He just had a wild idea.
There wasn't a butt hair.
She went right there. She went right there.
About to
Jen.
ask you, how could you identify it as a butt hair? How did you know? And
She was thinking you were identifying that hair and knowing right where it came
I'm
from.
gonna die in my chair.
is that an expression in America? A wild butt hair? It means an idea.
But I got it from the spirit when I was listening to Danny. I just knew he just meant
Spirit.
a wild hair idea. You know,
She
like
received it in the spirit.
like a
But is it?
like a rabbit hair. You know, like a wild hair.
I had
idea.
a thought. I had a thought that that I want to just see like Kevin. I want to go behind the scenes and go see where Kevin's from. And I went to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I looked up this brand, and there was like 400 employees at this major corporation. I mean, major, but from the branding and the packaging, and the dude on the back just like, that's why from my family to yours. And this corporation started the Kevin brand.
Did.
There wasn't
And-
even a Kevin.
No, there was a Kevin.
Yeah.
But he was like number 100 of down the line. He was just some random dude.
He didn't start the company.
No, they built this around.
So Kevin, this is Kevin Chicken?
No, I don't know if it was named Kevin or not.
No,
You
but
just
what was the
seasoned
food?
I want to say it was like a dish.
No.
No, it was like a chicken and pasta dish, and it was healthy.
Oh, it was already
The ingredients were
combined.
legit. That's the
Really?
thing. It's not like they were, lying or mixing. I mean, that food was actually. I think you would have. In fact, I want to find it again and bring it in and have
Well,
you
I'm
rate
telling
it.
you, if it's a big company, they kind of they'll be they're not under the radar. They'll be looked at. They probably have to list what's in it.
Yeah, but it just really stuck out. It's just such a reminder that you just really need to know where you buy food that you put in
Yeah,
your.
especially if you're buying online, you need to know brand authenticity.
Yeah, and really like do the hit that like. I think you can find origins and you can email companies
Yeah,
and
yeah.
why not find something you love and nest in with them and buy their products.
Yeah, and I'm going to put us back to fats now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm being so mature the last
know.
couple of
No,
poddies,
not
right?
last
Remember?
couple, just
No?
this one.
Remember the last one I kept you doing practical
Yeah,
recipes?
you did. That's true. But you had a lot of rabbit trails. But I appreciate the practical,
Yeah.
so I'll give you A.
And I forgot what I was going to do right now.
You're
that
gonna
was
get us
practical.
back
Oh
to
yeah, I was getting you
fats.
back to fats. So the whole theme here, the whole takeaway point, is the fact you don't want to get on some tangent and just say, oh, I'm only into saturated fats, or oh, I'm only into plant fats. I'm only into the mono and the polyunsaturated fats.
I mean, people are doing that.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
there's
it's
whole
huge.
camps. Don't get on a camp, people, because you're going to miss out on something amazing. If you get on the plant-only camp or just the mono and polyunsaturated fat camp, your brain is going to end up, and your hormones are going to end up not being optimized.
Yeah.
You need the animal fats. All animal fats, they end up having some saturated fat. If
Yeah.
not, yeah. And so it's really important for our brain. Eggs, even though they have
Yeah.
also the omega-3s in it, they have a good amount of cholesterol,
They do.
and that's so important for the brain. And of course, we need the saturated for the cooking, but we cannot miss out on the plant oils, the avocado, the olive oil. Let's be people that are all about being inclusive and not exclusive.
Okay, how
Because
about
it matters?
how about good old Kerrygold butter? Like, what
Brilliant.
kind of fat is that?
It's a short chain fat.
Saturated.
It's a saturated short
fat.
chain fat.
Could I cook an egg in that?
Yes.
But people forget short chain fats are actually excellent for the colon. They're excellent. That's butyric acid.
Yeah, butyric acid.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it, butyric or butyric. It causes short chain. Well, butyric actually is a short chain fatty acid.
Yeah.
And it is
It's
totally
fuel.
anti-cancer.
It's fuel for the microbes in your colon.
Anti-colon cancer.
It's
Butyric
absolutely
acid.
amazing.
Butyric acid, which is which is butter.
Yes.
And it's so easy to digest. It's very easy
Interesting.
to digest. Yes.
And butter is also CLA, right?
Yes.
What is that?
Conjugated linoleic acid or
we could
something
look
like
it up.
that.
So we could look it up and be all professional.
But butter is incredible, especially like you say, the Kerrygold, the grass-fed. You look at it, it's more yellow, right?
Yes.
It's more expensive.
Yeah,
but-
but man,
but
taste
man,
the
taste.
difference.
Yeah.
Like you start eating Kerrygold butter, and then you go
yes,
back.
Pearl, you're right. CLA, conjugated linoleic
Oh,
acid.
I'm
You were
amazing.
a pro.
Well, all the other butter now is like pale white, flavorless.
I know, it's white and flavorless. But
yeah.
man, Autumn lately has been making her own butter. Because we get grass-fed milk
Do you
from
get to
neighbors.
She's
partake?
making her
Yeah,
own
she lets.
butter.
Yeah, she makes. Yeah, she's like next level Serene.
Is it gold like Kerrygold?
Golder even? Oh,
She's making some
Yeah.
And it's
golden
raw.
butter.
and it's raw, so it's like amazing.
So amazing. And you know what the yummiest butter is?
What?
Cultured butter.
Yeah,
Don't you love cultured
I
butter?
do
I've
love
never had
cultured
it.
butter. Do you
Yeah,
ever make
you
that?
let the cream culture. I used to.
Yeah,
Back in the day, before the business, before Trim Healthy just ate up all our time. Yeah.
Jolly Trim
I
Healthy.
just found a product. Man, I need to bring in some products for you to rate. But it's okay, you know, not cream cheese, but sour cream.
right.
This is called English cream.
Okay.
Clotted cream?
I don't know, but it's like sour cream,
Let's
except
im-
it's thick like cream cheese. So it tastes more like what is it?
Yeah, Leslie's. Yep.
Clotted cream.
Yeah.
Well, and when you dip a spoonful of it, it's like cream cheese, but then it's surrounded by milk. It's like there's milk hiding in it or something. It's not until you break it.
So it's cultured because that's why it clots together.
I don't know. But when you put it on anything, including your tongue, raw from the bucket, it's incredible. And
When
I've
we went
never
to Scotland, and Scotland is a place for the berries, the raspberries and the fresh
Yes.
strawberries.
Yeah.
And wherever we went, a little cafe or coffee house, there would always be the clotted cream
The
and then the fresh
creams.
raspberries.
Well, when you have this type of cream, right, and you go back to the big tub of sour cream, you realize that that's not food anymore.
right.
No, it's
You know,
disgusting.
it's like this, like
Hey,
this.
you're really letting it out today, eh? All the people eating sour cream are now disgusting. Sour cream
I
is
didn't
on
say
plan.
they were disgusting. I said it's
Well,
disgusting.
we don't want to officially call sour cream disgusting necessarily on the
Okay,
Trim
good
Healthy
girl.
plan.
Good big sister.
But it seems
I
like
didn't write it in the book.
But
I
it
mean, on
seems like the good
podcast,
old like
it's just,
purity
you know,
sour
I know
cream.
she's going to
rules.
come up on the group. So now that Serene said sour cream is disgusting,
I actually
is it
think-
off plan?
No, but I'm a purist, and I
Yeah.
don't think it's not okay. I don't believe it's going to give you a disease.
Yeah.
It's not like filled with a bunch of psychochemicals you cannot pronounce. But what I think about it is, it's just a whole bunch of nothing that is probably pasteurized gunk.
It's like it feels I feel the
it's
same
not
way.
a superfood.
Like it's not like, oh, this sour cream is now deadly, but it's like
When I take sour cream, I think that fat's going to go on my tummy. When I
Yeah.
take clotted cream, I'm like, that's going to go to
Wherever
the right
you tell it
places.
to. Wherever you tell it to.
where I wish
That's
it.
My
gonna go
cheeks.
to the. That's gonna go
gonna pop
to
up
like
my
the
facial
feminine
features.
places I'm wanting to
Oh,
build.
it's going to go to my...
Never to the waist.
Yeah, but
Sour cream straight to the waist.
it's just like this watered, like regular sour cream now is just watered down. Like it's now the flavor of sour cream, and that's the thing. When again you heal your taste buds. I have. I shouldn't have drank so much Zevia.
Was that the colorized? Is that the
So
caffeine?
it just like something happened. I don't know what it was.
Don't you love that line? And they're just so caffeinated that they said, you know, in some of the hate mail we get. I can't stand the Poddy. They're
yeah.
just so caffeinated, and you were just having that cola is caffeinated, by the way.
It's caffeinated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you heal those taste buds, and all this like food that felt premium at the time feels like a watered down faker. Like it feels like it's the flavor of sour cream. It's the texture of sour cream, but it's not sour cream.
This is the deal. When you partake of food that is real, bread, butter, like curds and cream and oats, just simple fare is fare for the king, you know? But you see, we have to do so much fandangled stuff here and like excite our taste buds and do all this crazy stuff, because food that should be absolutely bring us to like glory land just with one mouthful is just so blasé. It's just bread has become like bleh. And sour cream and butter and cheese and everything. It's just all just, it's not.
Well, it's mass produced.
It's mass
But
produced.
think about it. You know, you go to Scotland and it's all clotted cream and stuff, but in times
Remember
of
New Zealand and runny cream, and it's yellow runny cream.
Right,
It's
but in
just-
times past, clotted cream was clotted because that's the way you could keep it around, right?
Yeah.
Anything fermented.
Yeah.
But it was so much better for you.
But there's a thickness
so
to
you're
it.
right that sour cream and all that are imitations because they haven't been fermented. I don't believe, right? Is sour cream cultured at all? It
I
says
don't
sour, but it's not very sour. It might have I don't know if it
I don't
has
know
any
what.
probiotics. I don't think they're living anymore.
It's not cream that has been soured.
Yeah.
Like,
there is a tang that you can taste when something's properly cultured, and I
Yeah.
can't taste it. So I haven't tasted sour cream for years.
well, look, if you're
I'll have
making,
some though if
my
I'm at a Mexican
purest
restaurant and I
soul.
need to. I'm not against it, but I'm not like pro it.
but if you're making like a box dinner, right?
Yeah.
You're,
If
yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like our culture has shifted, or at least did shift. We're shifting back now, but our country really shifted to a lot of like boxed types of throw the ingredients in a pot and then just let it cook. And with that mentality, it isn't so critical whether it's real butter or whether it's a stick of butter-like substance, because it's going to do the job. So like when you're just making sort of like modern hybridized dishes, these base ingredients, you know, you can get away with a lot,
Yeah.
with a lot of fakery, because they're going in, and in the end, you've got a tasty dish. But I
Yeah.
think if you're eating more like whole foods and making real food from the real earth, now it's critical. If you're just putting some beautiful cheese from the earth on bread, that bread has to be epic, and that cheese has to be epic.
oh, when you have two epic things like that, simple epic things like that, you're in food heaven.
And it's enough.
It's enough.
It's enough. You can, and if
It's like
you
you
want
have your little handkerchief, you know, and
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
you're the one watching the sheep for the day up there in the
Yes.
the hills of
Right.
Norfolk or something like that.
Yeah.
And you open your little hanky, and there's just a couple of like hunks that you've ripped off, and then there's moist hunks of the cheese that you
Oh, yeah.
you chunked off too.
It was after dinner,
Yeah.
and I've been working on getting the home gym right, you
Yeah.
know, really building appetites and stuff. We had already eaten dinner. Hours had gone by. I'm still working. My son and I get out this tub of like oiled and salted nuts of some kind, some white almondy, slippery type of nut. I don't know what it was.
They were the Mozilla almond. What are they?
Something like-
pearl, the
yeah.
Spanish pearl, and they're like blanched almonds, and they're kind of got a
Slippery and oiled.
little, yeah, what are they?
don't know.
Monzano almonds or?
That's
No, but I'm looking
you're on
up
it,
about
yeah.
pasteurized sour cream
But look,
right
it
now.
was that, and then we had this like really hard cheese that was like really expensive.
Yeah.
And we were just like those farmers out in that field.
Yeah.
Like it was enough. And it would, because
Yeah.
both were so premium and so real.
It's so
Mm-hmm.
true. I mean, because it's the essence of earth food, right?
Marcona, Spanish
But I do have to
almonds.
say there's nothing wrong with good mineral salt and good spices and good flavors either. Like I
Oh,
love
yeah.
making dishes with flavors.
Well,
and
then you just go to
spices.
Nirvana. Like you take that same bread that you've put that cheese on, or you put whatever, cream or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you want to go crazy? Get ready. Just mineral salt. Like you don't even have to go with some wild dish all the time if you have really premium food from the earth.
I'm looking up how much culture. So it does seem to say that sour cream is cultured in some way, but I don't know if the one in the grocery
Hey, if
store
you've been
has
on
many
antibiotics, I wouldn't be
It doesn't-
suggesting sour
They
cream. to
don't
bring
suggest
you
sour cream for if you've been on antibiotics. do
Yeah, like
they?
what level of culture are
It
we
says
talking about?
it says cream. It says
What, traditional sour cream or the what we're talking about you buy from the
no.
tub?
Traditional sour cream has lots of
Yeah, we know that is. But
You
is
know
the
how
tub
people-
product?
You know how people like ice cream for a treat?
Yeah.
Well, how do we were supposed to be
There's
on fats?
Nothing,
But yeah,
This is about fats.
Okay.
Nothing more enjoyable than if you have a raw milk sauce and you go and get. Sometimes I used to get it in the glass jars, our raw milk, but then you
Yeah.
had to wash them and return them, and and sometimes you got your jars mixed
Worse
up
than
with
Aldi's
other people's
quarter.
jars that didn't clean their jars as well. That was
Ugh.
bad.
If you don't like the quarter problem at Aldi, you're not going to like washing out a jar.
So
and-
now we do the stupid plastic jars, right? But I recycle the jars, kind of, sort of. But, I put them in my recycling shed, which I never take to the recycling. But still, I've got like 1,000 milk jars in there.
Yeah, just
but
burn
anyway,
the shed
what
one
you
day.
do is you don't shake the jar. You leave it in the fridge. And just when it's your treat night, instead of disgusting ice cream, you just put it up to your mouth. Rest it on the bench, lean down, put your mouth there and just squeeze and let the cream just zoom in down the throat.
And
Yeah,
it
you
is-
squeeze it into your mouth. It's just
How
cream.
long has it been
Straight
sitting there?
Cream. No, it's been in the fridge, but you don't
Oh.
shake it like when you take it
so
out.
you're saying that
Yeah.
You just
You hit
you
that
just-
cream
you just
shot
like,
off
you
the
just
top.
take 3 or
Swallowing
4
grass-fed
swallows, just
cream.
3 or 4 big swallows.
Yes.
It's better than any ice cream in the world.
I do that with
It's
heavy cream.
Absolutely amazing. I know, but
heavy
know.
cream
Have
from
it
the
raw
store.
and
She's
amazing.
not
Yeah.
super big. It's not off plan. It's just not super.
Yeah, I mean, a little shot here and there.
Yeah. What else do we have to say on fats, or are we just about to close?
We're about to close.